So, Havoc on Netflix has an absolutely stacked cast. You've got Tom Hardy as the main, and then backing him up, you have a slew of just solid actors who have done a ton of work in other stuff, like Forrest Whitaker, Timothy Oliphant, just to name a couple. Jesse May Lee is here, Justin Cornwell, Luis Guzman as Raul, he runs like a chop shop. Anyway, it's got just a stacked cast and largely felt like they were all wasted on little bit cameo roles. Ah, I really wanted to like this more than I did. It's not a bad popcorn movie. But let's be realistic. This is not something that I think this is just this is a paycheck movie for everybody, and it's okay to do these types of movies. If you're a working actor, you're looking to fill the void in between the big project. This is one of those projects. So if you go watch Havoc, if you're going to sink your teeth into this, just be aware going into it that it is a popcorn film. Don't expect to take much away from it. That being said, it did have some redeeming qualities. Although I will say up front, this has some of the most ridiculous, over the top graphic violence that I've seen ever, I think, in a movie. And not like gross, not like Alien Romulus or something where it's like just like guts, coming out and explosive chest bursters and stuff like that. Not like gross violence, but like just violence because of the gunplay. So this is like, they tried to have some John Wick action style sequences in this film. And don't get me wrong, the action sequences, especially like I think it was like the last 30 minutes of this film, is just balls to the walls gunplay. But the blood spray is so excessive that for me, it took away any sort of seriousness in the actual violence and just made it into this thing where Chris and I were literally looking at each other, laughing out loud and just giggling at how over the top and gratuitous the violence was. So, let's get into the movie a little bit. Spoiler alert, I don't do spoiler free, so I'm going to be talking spoiler stuff here. The plot was a little confusing at first, but essentially what it boils down to is there is this kid and his girlfriend who get involved with stealing drugs and end up hurting this cop who was in pursuit. This cop is a group of 5 cops who are dirty cops who are in on some stuff. And one of those is Tom Hardy's character, and he ties back to the father of this kid, who happens to be the recently elected mayor, played by Forrest Whitaker. The other corrupt cops are various guys, including Timothy Oliphant. Um, so, in the process of this drug deal gone bad, um, this son of the mayor ends up killing a triad member's son. And that lady shows up looking for revenge and wants to kill everyone involved with killing her son. And so there's a rampage that happens. And behind all of this, you have Tom Hardy's character, who's like this really sad, down on his luck guy who really regrets the fact that he did some dirty shit as a cop and is trying to find his way back out of that. Doesn't I mean, the ending is kind of gray as to whether or not he survives, but essentially the movie is all about him fighting against these other corrupt cops who end up being the guys who shot up this um, triad and actually killed the triad member. And this is when you find out that the triad lady is chasing the wrong people because she's actually after the son of the mayor, and it's not actually him who did it. It was these dirty cops who made it look like other people did it. Out of all of the actors in this movie, I feel like the one they wasted the most was Timothy fucking Oliphant, because this guy is a phenomenal talent, especially if you've ever seen him in shows like Justified or Deadwood. And he has like next to no dialogue throughout this film, and he's just there as sort of like this menacing presence of like this corrupt cop, and I feel like he just literally. Same thing with Forrest Whitaker. Forrest Whitaker had a couple of scenes in this, and then he gets offed, and it just felt like these really big name actors who have done some amazing things with their careers were here just because they were getting paid because they don't actually have very many lines. Whereas Tom Hardy actually kind of carries this whole fucking movie with his, brooding performance. Oh, I've got yawns, guys. It's late. It's like 7 o'clock at night. Chris and I just ended up. We just watched Maverick with Mel Gibson, which I hadn't seen since I think it came out. She had never seen it. I'll have a review for that up later, so stay tuned. Anyway, I'm tired. I've been up since 3 o'clock. Um, anyway, it's not the worst film I've seen. If I had to rate it, it would be hard for me to rate it. I'd probably give it like a 6 out of 10, maybe a 5. Like I said, it's kind of a little confusing at first. Once it gets going and they start to tie all the loose ends together, it kind of makes more sense. Quick commercial break, everyone, to celebrate and give thanks to all of these amazing people who keep me on the air full time. Really appreciate the support. All you got to do is join as a member. You get access to private videos. You can also do super thanks on any upload or super chats and stickers on any live stream or premiere you see. And beyond that, don't forget we're multi-streaming over on Twitch now, so you can support over there as well. Thanks so much to everybody. Let's get back to the video at hand. But honestly, the movie was really kind of slow all the way up until the last 30 minutes or so, which is when all hell breaks loose. And it just becomes this over the top gunfight that just keeps going on and on and on. And it is literally some of the most ridiculous blood splatter I've ever seen in like ever. I don't think I've ever seen a film that goes this far to just be as grossly violent as possible. And it's not even that it's I don't mean gross as in bleh, I mean like gross as in over the top. It's grossly exaggerated. And maybe that's I guess part of what they were going for is that sort of gory violence take. But to me, it just felt like it took away the impact of the actual gunplay because there were some really cool moves, some really cool martial arts, some really cool physical action sequences, and camera shots and camera angles that were in the last 30 minutes of this film that I felt like that they kind of got wasted because it was overlaid with just lots of just splatter and spray and body parts. And I will say also the CGI effects in this were not that great. They had quite a bit of CGI with the CGI blood, and also like some of the car chase sequences looked like they were CGI, and there was some weird color palettes going on too. Like I said, it was just an odd, action film. I don't even know how it's quantified. Let me go look at it. It says it's a action thriller film, written directed by Gareth Evans, who I guess has done some Indonesian action crime films. Not that familiar with him. Um, Jessica May Lee, we've seen in Shadow and Bone. She was in this with against Tom Hardy. Um, so it had Luis Guzman showed up for like a couple of, and I've loved his character. And I've seen him in so many things. I still love him in Count of Monte Cristo, by the way. His role in Count of Monte Cristo is still one of my favorite roles that he's ever done. Um, yeah, uh, not the worst thing I've seen. Definitely a popcorn film. If you like action movies and you like kind of like that gun fu kind of stuff, like John Wick sort of style, like the last half of this movie really does bring it home in that regards. But it took a long time to get there, and then, like I said, it just felt a little over the top when it did. So I have no idea where they're going with this, if it's going to get a sequel or not. But like I said, Tom Hardy did a great job. He always puts in the effort, and I feel like this is definitely another, a working man's film where this is just actors coming in and doing a job to get a paycheck to go on and work on the next project. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. Just don't expect anything super out of this movie. If you can go in with understanding the context of that, then I think you'll be entertained. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. Like, subscribe, hit that bell icon so you never miss an update, and I'll see everybody in the next review. Until then, stay safe and don't forget The streams happen every single morning on YouTube and Twitch at around 5 a.m. Central as we continue to play games and do all the other things we do.